Going live and we are live.
Okay.
Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode on the show Behind the Scenes with your host Dr. Ron. And today's episode I have with me someone special, and I'll leave her to introduce herself. Really, I prefer it that way. So, Doc, over to you.
Okay. Good evening, Dr. Ron, and thank you for this opportunity to have this informal fireside chat. My name is Dr. Ogechi Sylvia Eze Ni Odocha. I am a general practitioner in Derby. I am currently a locum doctor, and I am also a public governor for the Royal Derbyshire and Bolton NHS Trust, representing Derby City West. I am also a founder of Afromedics Mentor, which is a non-profit organization mentoring Nigerian medical students. I founded it during the pandemic when all the universities were closed. And I just thought to myself, how can I give back to Nigerian medical students to mentor, to support, to share the knowledge that I have, garnered in my sojourn in the UK, make friends, mentor them, and, support the next generation. I have a YouTube channel, Health and Music with Dr. Oge, where I teach about health education in English, in Igbo, which is my language, and in Pidgin as well. And I am soprano doctor, so I take solos. I am a soprano singer, first soprano. I sing on my channel. That's why it is Health and Music, because not only do I know about the therapeutic benefits of music, I've experienced it myself. And I'm also an exercise fitness therapist. So if you look at some of my videos, you see a lot of exercise in a fun way, nothing too strenuous, something that you enjoy, and exercise that you can even incorporate in your daily life, while you can actually jog on the spots with your children. You can go up and down the staircase in your house. So just trying to incorporate medicine into my life, our lives, in a fun way to preserve our health. So yeah, I love health education. I love having chats like this. So yeah, that's me. To my husband, who is an associate professor. I'm the second child of my parents. I'm a daddy's girl. I've just been in Nigeria forever. Dr. Ron knows. So that is me. That is me.
Well, thanks for that short intro about you. We'll still get back to the gist about the public governor because I don't know what you guys do as governors. I don't know if it's our type of governors, but
Yes.
we'll get to that gist.
Okay.
So I'll I want to start by, I mean, what was your motivation for leaving Nigeria? A lot of people, Jackpot is the trend right now. Everybody's jackpotting, jackpotting, jackpotting.
Yeah.
And I tell people, I mean, I think there are a lot of untold stories about the whole jackpotting, settling down in a new environment and all of that. So what was your own motivation for moving?
Okay. I would say I have a primary motivation and a secondary motivation. For me, my mom actually came to the UK when we were little, when I was like 3 months old. She came with my brother and I and my dad to do a master's program. But due to certain reasons, societal reasons, my dad left her here, came back to Nigeria. And, maybe in our part of the world where it's like, how will you leave your wife abroad with little children? She should be by your side. And, in as much as my mom tried to explain that she's studying, which should have meant so much, it didn't mean
Yeah.
anything. It was like, all the money has been made. What else? You've already got a degree. What are you using a master's to do? So it was something that really hurt my mom. And throughout my growing years, my mom would always ram it into our heads, especially to me as a girl, telling me, remember to pursue your dreams. That she wished she did her master's, she would have made the best of both worlds. That
Mm.
was phrase, best of both worlds. So from my as far as I could remember understanding English, best of both worlds. You're a woman. Don't let your dreams die. Through secondary school, got into the university, and then I have a lot of family members abroad who will come back to Nigeria during the summer holidays. We lived in Aba, so they would come back and tell us tales of the Queen's Kingdom, where this everywhere is so fresh and fresh milk, and say, don't take lights. And I'll be like, nah, I want to experience this place.
Yeah.
Oh, it was in my I met my husband. We started dating in my fourth year in medical school. And the day he told me about getting married, I told him I don't want to be a traditional wife. I want to travel the world. I want to write books. I want to go abroad and do my residency. And he told me, okay, I'm going to make it happen. He's promising me he's not going to make me that traditional wife that will tie a wrapper on her chest and be frying plantain and egg and be pounding in the mortar. So anywhere I want to go, he's going to make it come to pass. So in my fifth year, he had a Commonwealth scholarship and traveled to Glasgow. So I
Okay.
started seeing things falling in place. And then finished medical school in 2010, did my house job. And while I was doing house job, this young man had already applied for me to do PLAB. So
Wow.
luckily for me, then the rule was if you apply for PLAB within a year of graduating from medical school, they will waive IELTS for you, provided
Oh,
you can show evidence that you did your medical school in English. So I was able to get a letter from our provost and from the dean of our College of Medicine, University of Nigeria, and
yeah.
I finished my house job in December of 2011 and then came to the UK in 2012, February 2012. So I would say secondarily, my mother's putting it in my head, and primarily I follow man.
You follow good man come. Well, that's quite interesting. I mean, you don't hear this part of the stories most of the time, and
Yes,
I'm happy it worked out well for
yes,
you. So, I mean, looking at settling in the UK healthcare system, I
yes,
think it's quite different from what we have in
yes,
Nigeria. So,
yes.
how did you settle in? What were the challenges, and how did you navigate those issues?
Ah, gosh, man, it's so nice discussing this with you in Glasgow because I'm in Glasgow at the moment, like I told you, for the
Yeah,
ICP conference, and Glasgow is where I started from. And it's when I came out of the plane today, it was just mixed feelings. Because when I came in 2012, it's a story for another day. Deep experiences that we will share on a personal basis. You know,
yeah,
in my part of Nigeria, the eastern part, I'm from Mbise, and I know you know about the Mbise bride price, where most of
yeah,
ladies are mostly highly educated, and your parents will always tell you have to, if you're a doctor, you should be doctor and doctor Mrs., engineer and engineer Mrs. So coming home and telling my parents I wanted to marry a lecturer, it did not go down well with them. And then being from Mbise as an Ada, first girl, we rarely marry outside. So this is me from Mbise going to Enugu. From Imo State going to Enugu, it didn't go down well. So there were a lot of difficulties at I wouldn't really go into right now because
yeah,
but it shaped my coming to the UK. It was not the nicest of sent forths. I actually came on my own, if I should put it like that. I was told, okay, if you want to go on your own, you would see that life without family is not going to be easy. And it's either
yeah,
you want to cross the Rubicon, you want to bite the bullet. And for the first time in my life, I stepped out without the support and the love and the approval I normally have. So I arrived in the UK February 2012, coming from Nigeria, where I even wore short sleeve to show you my type of JJC. I wore short sleeve and sandals, and I landed in Glasgow airport. It was freezing. I couldn't even,
wow,
I couldn't come out of the plane. So thankfully, my husband was in the airport with three jackets and boots and stockings.
wow,
Yet I couldn't get warm. So he took me home that evening. I put on the heater, put on as many heaters, yet my body could not auto regulate. And, I told him, is this what I have come to? How am I going to survive in this country? He said, you'll survive, you will survive. That night I cried. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do.
yeah,
I now told him, okay, I've landed. What do we do now? He said, we need to get you logged into an exam bank to start preparing for PLAB. I didn't do PLAB 1 in Nigeria. I actually did PLAB 1 and PLAB 2 in the UK. So I came in February 17th. My PLAB 1 was March March 19th, I think. So barely a month to prepare. So I had got some materials from somebody who did the exam in 1993. So the
Mm.
problem now is this person was not transparent enough to tell us that PLAB and the GMC update their academic information every year. So that
Yeah.
guideline you learned about asthma in 1993 is not
Has
the same,
changed.
has changed. So, and again, I was studying on my own because just like some people, when you come into the UK first, you don't want people to know because you never find your leg, you never settle. So I did not. Nobody even knew. Nobody knew where I was. My parents were not even sure where I was. So I was uh, practicing alone, which is one problem. You do not practice alone for PLAB. You need a community. You need friends to even adapt to the UK. So I was on my own online, log into this exam bank and studying old, outdated material. I went for my first PLAB and of course I failed. I
Chai.
failed. That was my first time of failing a medical exam in my life. So I failed that exam because one, I was preparing with the wrong material. I did not have a discussion group, and I did not have the psychological supports needed to
Mm.
step into the UK. So then PLAB was £250 for PLAB one. So my husband just comforted me and told me, "Don't worry, we would go again and write it again." He paid for me again, and I went and wrote it. And thankfully, as fate would have it, sometimes when failure throws you to the ground, you know that a man who is down fears no fall. A friend,
Absolutely.
a friend of mine reached out to me and she said, "Okay, I know that you don't want people to know that you're in the UK, but I am in the UK myself and I need a discussion partner to help me prepare for a PLAB." And I told her, "Please, I need help. I've just failed. I need help." And it turned out that this friend of mine, she was in Belfast then, her husband had just written PLAB and passed. So
Wow.
he had the latest materials, which was when I
Mm-hmm.
compared it to what I was using, it was like comparing apples and oranges. So together, we prepared on Skype for the exam. Another thing I did that period was I quickly realized how lonely this part of the world can be. And again, you're in the house alone, nobody's talking to you. You won't even know the people that live in your building. I cannot
Mm.
even on heater. I am freezing under the blankets. I told my husband, "Look, I need to get a job." He said, "But you know that without your GMC license, your MBBS is virtually nothing here. You
Yeah.
can't get a job." I told him, "Whatever job I'm going to take." He said, "But you're a doctor. And look at the family you come from, the prestigious family. What if people see you doing a menial job?" I said, "I don't care. I want to earn a living. Apart from that, I want to meet people. I want to get out of the house. I think I'm getting depressed." So I took
Mm-hmm.
up a job in Primark, cleaning the
Wow.
Primark center. And my husband felt so bad for me. I told him, "Don't feel bad for me. This is my life journey. This is my experience. Allow me to go." So I used to go to Primark and work from 6 to 8 in the morning, come back, join up with my friend on Skype, and we'll practice from 9 to 12. We used to do like 100 questions, past questions every single day, 9 to 12. And then 12 to 1, I'll go to the university chaplaincy, attend daily mass, and then go to the university library or join up with my husband at the lab. And then in the evening, we'll come back. And that's how my friend and I went for PLAB 1 together. We passed. So we passed our
Yeah.
PLAB 1. I was so happy. You know that when you've got your discussion for partner, you people stick together for life. Then
Mm-hmm.
together went and registered at Swami in Ilford, which was the PLAB discussion tutorial center in Ilford. That's where it was then. So we met up at Ilford and we met up with another friend of ours who attended University of Port Harcourt. So this my friend, this my first friend attended UNN with me. We were actually classmates. So we met up with another young lady who attended University of Port Harcourt. We became
Yeah.
discussion partners. So after what we learned at PLAB, because what they do at the PLAB Tutorial Center, they will give you the theory. You come for lectures which will last for 6 weeks. So
Oh.
you book the accommodation there. You'll be going for like classes from your hostel. You join up at classes. So after we did our 6 weeks, we went back home. Started meeting on Skype again. So the three of us will meet on Skype. We'll practice CPR. We'll use pillows as the mannequin. We'll practice
Mm-hmm.
nebulizing. We'll practice how to do a cannula. We'll maybe use something like a pipe from our kitchen and practice cannula. We'll practice breaking bad news stations and things like.
Yeah.
So we did all of that together, and then we went back for Plab 2 in Manchester. This was in October of 2012. We went and did
Wow.
our Plab 2 in Manchester, and the three of us passed. The three of us
Wow.
passed at the same time. So for them, they were in England. For me, I was in Scotland. And that is part of the disparities one would get to know about the United Kingdom. Not everywhere is
Interesting.
as cosmopolitan. So I was in Glasgow, and once you pass your exam, you apply for your GMC license. Some people call that one Plab 3. That one takes
Mm-hmm.
another long journey where you would now have to fill in you go online and you have to fill in everything you have done right from when you graduated from medical school. You can't leave any gap. If there's any gap, you have to put there either you were on holiday, or you were taking out time to get married, or you took time out of work to have a baby. There cannot be any gap. Even
Gap.
me, I had to put the jobs I was doing. So in addition to cleaning, I was teaching in a music school. I was teaching in the Academy of Sacred Music. I was teaching music. I also used to plait hair, and I used to crochet. So these are things I did on the side to raise money, to put money aside. So I had to put all
Yeah.
of that. In fact, for where I even put I was cleaning, I had to get a reference from the cleaning agency.
Wow.
Where I put that I was teaching in a music school, I had to get a reference from my employers. All of that, because you cannot just say I did this. That's one thing about the UK. Accountability, you must back it.
Evidence.
Evidence must day. Evidence, it must day. So we did all of that. I got my GMC license in November. Now, my friends in England, they said I getting job. Me, I did Glasgow, job no one come.
Hmm.
I was like, what is going on? They were like, England, you get job. Some of them told me that they will even go to the hospitals close to them and tell them that they've just passed PLAB, that is there any position? They'll say, okay, this is our hospital trust website. Go and apply. And they will
Yeah.
apply, and they will call them for interviews. I got my license in November. December, no job. I was still cleaning with my GMC license. I was like, what's
Wow.
going on? I went to the local hospitals around me. They were like, you need NHS experience. I was like, how will I get the NHS experience when I can't get a job? Some people now advised me to go and apply to local agencies. I registered with a few. And then the few were now like, oh, I need to go and do clinical attachments, which involved non-paid observership. I was
Hmm.
like, what is going on? I've got my I have MBBS, and I have GMC license. People are still telling me to go and do observership. That one was another journey. And that is where I wish our senior colleagues who have been here can help us. I didn't even know that there were bodies who were in existence. And this was me with my GMC
Yeah.
license. You will not believe I finally got a job in May.
Hmm.
I got my license
November to May.
November. And yet I was still cleaning till April. I couldn't get a job anywhere. So I was even trying to meet up with some senior Nigerian doctors to see if they will even help me get the observership. That one even proved difficult. Where a senior colleague will tell you, oh, you know that this is the abroad. I cannot be doing IM. In Igbo, we say IM.
Imam
It
Madu.
can count for corruption. And I'll be like, you're not even paying me for this thing. Just for you to speak to HR, and they will give me a visitor's pass, and I'll be following you about. Do you know how I finally got my clinical attachments? Because in the university chaplaincy, I used to take solos, I used to sing. So the priest really took a liking to me. The priest now told me that the Catholic Doctors Association in Glasgow, they normally meet up for educational symposia. He will give my
Mm-hmm.
name to them and tell them that I have really been desperately looking for clinical attachments. So
Wow.
up to a very lovely gynecologist, Dr. Mahish Pereira. I will never forget him. So he gave me Dr. Pereira's email, told me to contact him. I contacted Dr. Pereira. He said, I can understand what you're going through. As an IMG, I was there before. He told me, come and meet me at Glasgow Royal Infirmary on so and so date, and we'll have a discussion. And I went and met him. I told him my plight that since November, I have still been going about that. I feel so shattered. He said, don't worry, let's go to the HR. He took me to the HR and told the HR, this doctor is a Nigerian doctor, a lovely doctor. She has passed PLAB for 3 months now. and she's looking for a place to do clinical attachment. She will not have any patient contact. She's just going to follow me around to see how the NHS works.
Just to observe.
Exactly. Can we get a badge for her so that she can be able to let herself into the hospital? She will always wait for me downstairs. She cannot come into the ward without me. So they said, okay, fine. They want to see my CV. I had to go and drop a CV. I had to go to the trust website and apply. Apply. They did a brief interview for me, and that was how I started work with Dr. Pereira. And then I told my husband, I don't get attachment. They don't go pay me. I will not let go of this cleaning job. So what I used to do in the morning, I go wear my cleaning uniform. I go prime to earth. Then I will enter the staff changing room. I go change to official scale suits,
Yeah.
bus, and go to the infirmary. All my cleaning uniform will be in my backpack. Nobody knows what is inside there. I will follow,
Mm-hmm.
I will follow Dr. Pereira from the ward for ward round. No patient contact. Just sit there and be nodding, observing how you introduce yourself to patients. My name is this. How you speak to patient, bedside manner. Following them into the theater. I'll go to the theater. They'll give me scrub. I'll just stay at a distance and observe how things are done, the scrubbing and all. So while I was there, Dr. Pereira was telling me I should keep my eyes peeled on the trust websites so that if any job comes up, I can apply. So I kept my eyes
Mm-hmm.
peeled there, and again, I was making like 50 applications per day on the NHS jobs website. That's jobs.nhs.uk. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
even I was applying as far as Dumfries, even if it is the border town of Inverness, where the one of that is near the North Sea. I was
You
applying.
just apply.
Chineke, NHS Tees, NHS Pool, NHS Blackpool, Portsmouth. I did not care. I was applying. So when I tell people this thing, people think, for me, I'm a product of grace, and I always tell people. My husband will always tell me, resign, stop this cleaning job. Sometimes you just need to throw yourself into God's hands and see what He will do. I said, waiting. If I stop it, how will we feed? The
Mm-hmm.
£6.19 per hour is something. It's something. Uh-uh. I, I'm not going to drop it. My husband will say, drop it, drop it. So finally, one day I said, Abi, maybe let me try. So that day, now the Nigerian style. I went to pound shop. I bought drinks. You know how you say you want to culture, you want to say them bye bye. I had
Mm.
I had already told the cleaning manager that that last Friday of the month to be my last day. So I bought drinks. He was like, what is this, Ogechi? I said, it's our culture in Nigeria. If you're leaving a place, you buy drinks, you say bye bye, that this is your last day here. So he said, okay, I really wish you the best. I hope you get a job because, you've told us how for months on end because they knew when I passed.
Yeah.
The day I passed, I bought drinks, I celebrated. You don't pass. Oh, yeah, come and go now. You know what? Go. So
You know one go.
he said, I hope you will get something. So I was at the bus stop. I was at the bus stop, Queen Street. My phone rang. I picked up my phone. It was an unknown number. At first, I didn't want to pick. I said, "Doctor, these Yahoo people." I did not want to pick. Then he rang again. I picked. He said, "Hello, is this Dr. Ogeki or Docha?" I said, "Yes, it's Dr. Ogechi." He said, "Oh, my name is Michelle from HR, the Royal National Orthopedic Hospital in Stanmore, London. You might not remember, but you made an application to us a few months ago." I said, "I made so many applications, I can't even
You've
remember.
lost track.
I've lost track. I've lost track." She said, "Okay, we've gone through your application and we were really pleased. Certain points that stood out to us: you are a music teacher, you're a singer, you're Nigerian, and we're very big on talents, diversity." And we were really pleased with your CV. And our panel of consultants have looked through, and we would really want you to join us. I was like,
Wow.
excuse me, so when am I coming for my interview? She said, one of our consultants is going to ring you in about 30 minutes. So please keep your phone beside you so that when he calls, he can have a chat with you. Dr. Ron, I shouted. As in, I was shouting like a mad person. It remains small, made a section me. I shouting that my boss passed me by. So I had to run after the boss. So I even ran up and caught up with the boss at the next stop. So when I caught up with the boss, he said, aren't you that lady I saw screaming like a banshee there?"
Yeah.
I said, "It's me." He said, "You're really fast." I said, if you know the news I've heard now, I can even run faster than this bus. So I got on the bus, got home, put my phone on ring. And then the call came through from Mr. Calder, consultant pediatric orthopedic surgeon. And he said, I'm Mr. Calder, consultant or pediatric orthopedic surgeon. Is this Dr. Getchi? I said, yes. He said, I'm sure you've spoken to HR. Just want to let you know that we are really pleased with your CV and we would like to have you on our team. How soon can you join us?
Wow.
I was like, this is too much. I can't understand because
You
what,
can't
what,
process it.
what I've been praying for is let me even go for interview. Let me come back. Let them say, unfortunately, we
Mm.
cannot progress. Interview did not even come. I just told him, excuse me, sir. He said, no, don't call me, sir. Call me Mr. Calder. I said, okay, Mr. Calder. I said, I live in Glasgow. This is middle of April. Can you give me 2 weeks so that I can get my house in order, shop, say goodbye to my friends, and get on the plane and start coming to England? He said, take your time. Can we have you on the first week of May? I said, that works for me. Hey, Dr. Ron, the memories in Scotland are just a kaleidoscope, just a potpourri of emotion. I was shouting. I was living in a high-rise building, council flats. I didn't care. I was jumping. In fact, my neighbor was up on the roof so that I was, will you stop that nonsense? I was over the moon. I was shouting. I called my husband. I said, honey, Oakley could go. Obayego,
Mm.
Oakley could go. He said, I went to his lab. I went to the lab. I was shouting. Everybody in the lab, they were happy for me because they knew what was happening. You have passed. You are still coming here because when I finish from the chaplaincy library, I'll come and meet my husband at the lab. Two of us will walk home. We couldn't even afford bus pass. We used to use leg. There's no way my leg did not work in this Glasgow. So they were so happy. Hey, that is when you know that people, you think you are carrying your pain alone. They might not be expressive as much, but
Yeah.
when you win, you know that people were carrying you in their hearts.
Mm.
So the priest was so happy for me. They did a send forth for me. The choir did a send forth for me. The chaplain did a send forth for me. My academy where I was teaching music. And that's how I gathered my things, got on a plane from Glasgow International Airport, got to Gatwick, and then took the underground or the train from there, got to Royal National Orthopedic Hospital. They gave me accommodation. I started working there May of 2013. So this is me. I passed PLAB November 2012. I started working May 2013 as an SHO in the pediatric orthopedic department. So I
Yeah.
stayed there for the first 6 months. That was the beginning of my tier two journey. And
Mm-hmm.
they loved me so much and they told me, what do I want to do? I said, I want to stay on. So I stayed there. They renewed my visa for me. And then, you get to a point in life, you realize the F1s have come and gone. The first batch of
Yeah.
F1s have come and gone. The second batch of F1s have gone. I said, no, no, no. What do I want to do with myself? I decided it's either I love it here because they loved me. I was enjoying work there. I lived inside the hospital accommodation. So even though I was in London, I didn't bear the brunt of the expensive accommodation in London.
Yeah.
It was a two-bedroom accommodation, 550 a month as at 2012. So I decided, okay, let me go and apply for a master's. I went to apply for a master's in immunology in Queen Mary University. It was around £14,000 then. I was
Mm-hmm.
ready paying it off gradually. So I went to HR and asked them, is there a way I can be put on a rota that will enable me to be going for lectures on certain days and then I work on certain days? And they were like, oh, unfortunately, it can't happen because we will struggle. You're a full-time SHO and your
Mm-hmm.
visa covers full-time work.
Yeah.
It was there. It was, in fact, my husband left December 31st of 2013. And it was now around Easter of 2014, so March, April of 2014. And I was now making these decisions because that was when I had my first episode of seasonal affective disorder. My
Wow.
husband, because of him, I came to the UK, was no longer here. I was on my own. That was when the isolation hit me. And
Really
so
hit you.
all I was doing was and eating, working and eating. I had no social life. London is such a busy place that if you want to go from point A to point B, you will take like two buses. You know how much you will spend. You get on the underground. And I lived in a hospital that was surrounded by forest. I didn't really have any friends. So I said,
Mm.
I got to get out of here. So when I saw that the master's route did not work for me, That was when a friend told me that general practice portal is open. I was like, I don't really think I want to do general practice. What I wanted to do when I was in medical school was surgery. But as you they grow, you go tell yourself truth. This thing they work for me and it's there. After one night shift in the NHS, I now understood why they no get a call room. There's
Mm-hmm.
a 24-hour culture here. 2 a.m. patients see they enter A&E, they look you eye like
Yes,
this.
so.
Not be Nigeria where 11 p.m. they don't lock gates.
Mm.
Pata, pata, one or two people will enter A&E. Nigeria, people respect the night. Here, there is no respect of the night. I say, me that loves my sleep. So I first of all cancelled anything that will have night shifts. And then I said, okay, let me try pediatrics. I was now working in the pediatric ward to do cannula on a baby. And I said, Plus the fact that they say pediatrics is the second specialty with the highest litigation. The first is obs and gynae, then
Mm.
pediatrics. I said, And I said to consider general practice. I said, one, I'm a teacher, a health education enthusiast, I'm a talker. I need a specialty that will allow my personality shine through.
Shine, yeah.
General practice is good though. No night shift, no mandatory night shift, no surgery, no emergency.
Just
None
see
of
them
all
and go home.
no, thank you. None of all this code red. Somebody is whatever. And then there's a lot of talking with your patients. You get to know the whole family, the variety that is involved. So I applied for general practice training. This was in March of 2014. I applied, and then it came through for me that I was successful in June of 2014. So I
Wow.
had stayed in Stanmore in the Royal National Orthopedic from May of 2013 till July of 2014. So July of 2014, I had another send forth, goodbyes, farewells, got on a train and headed to Derby to start my
For
GP training
training.
for training in Derby. So I did my training in Derby 2014 to 2017. And then it was during that period that because my husband now became dependent on my visa. That's when Home Office showed us.
Mm.
Because my
Wow.
husband, with the Commonwealth scholarship, when he finished, the agreement with Commonwealth was when you're done, you have to go
You
back
go
to
back home.
Nigeria and repay that same amount of time you spent in the UK. So he had to go back and do his 3 years in Nigeria.
Wow.
And I was alone. So he used to visit. Now, my husband made the mistake of visiting, and his visa, let's say his visa was expiring on the 15th of the month. He now booked his flight for the 15th of that month. He
Wow.
booked a midnight flight. So his flight was still in the UK airspace.
And it expired.
It expired. So he was banned from entering the UK for 2 years.
Ha.
That's when I knew what clinical depression was. It was so bad for me. It was so bad for me to the extent I had to write,
Hmm.
hey, Jesus Christ, I had to write to my MP and tell her I am I'm a married but single GP trainee, alone in Derbyshire, which is a mostly Caucasian area. I was the
Mm-hmm.
only Nigerian GP trainee in my set.
Wow.
The only, with the cultural shock, with the
Mm-hmm.
you don't respect personal space, you laugh too loud, you should laugh, ha ha, and end it there. You are too gregarious, too noisy. You don't know who you will talk to. What you tell somebody will turn to general gist. It was
Exactly.
it was horrible. It was horrible. It was when I finally had a mental breakdown where I ran away. I ran off to Nigeria. I got on a plane.
Wow.
And coupled with this, I was still not even in 100% good terms with my family. But I think sometimes it's when your child has now gone into the depths. My family now started to reach out to me and encourage me. So during that time, it was 2014, we were invited to come back and do our trad because when I came out in 2012, I did my white wedding here and all. So they invited us back in 2014 to come and do our trad. We started, repairing broken bridges, trying to mend fences. It was not that 2015 that they banned my husband. You won't believe I went to Nigeria 3 times in 2015. So
Hmm.
this is you that every 4 months they'll give you 1 week. So as they're giving me my 1 week holiday, I'm booking my flight to
You're
Nigeria.
moving.
I went 3 times to Nigeria in 2015 just to catch up with my husband because he could not enter the UK. He couldn't. So I I was a red flag trainee, as they would say, because
Mm.
one, I was battling with clinical depression, but social cultural beliefs would not allow me accept that this was depression.
Yeah.
The stigma, I was like, I'm not mad. God forbid, it's not my portion. It's not my portion. I'm not mad. Mad. I was struggling. I couldn't sleep. I had anhedonia. I stopped going for choir practice. I joined Derby Choral Union. I sing with Derby Choral Union till now. And I used to also
Mm.
sing with the Derby Hospital's choir. Everything that gave me pleasure, I stopped. I was losing weight, ruminating, guilt. And I was struggling to go to work. And when I couldn't take it anymore, I got on a plane and I ran off. Nobody knew where I was. It was a friend
Wow.
of Lagos who, according to her, said the spirit just touched her and said, I don't see you on social media. And that's how my friends know that I'm depressed. You don't see me on social media. I'm off Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You don't see me anywhere.
Offline.
Offline. So my friend reached out to me. She said, okay, where are you? I said, I'm in the airport. She said, doing what? I said, I can't take it anymore. I just don't know. I'm getting on a plane and I don't know where I'm going to. Say, where have you booked your plane? So I said, Lagos. She said, okay, I live in Lagos. I'm going to wait for you at the airport. And this, my friend came and picked me up at the airport.
Yeah.
I only came with my passport and a bag. I didn't even pack. I didn't even know what I was doing with myself. She took me to her house. Her mother, the parents consoled me. They gave me food. They just told me, okay, you know what? You're going to go back to the UK. You will go back. My husband, she even told me my husband had been calling her. So she told me, call your husband and tell him what is happening. So I told him that was when my husband now believed that depression was real.
Real.
That was when he believed that depression was real. And that was when by then I had written to my MP that I will end it all. I am tired. I cannot cope. So the MP had to write to the Home Office Freedom of Information Bill. They now said what was happening. She now insisted that they must give my husband a visa. So they gave my husband his visa that period. My husband now came to the UK and waited for me to come back. As soon as my husband came back, he took me straight to the GP. Took me to
Mm.
my GP. The GP said, oh my God, and you've been struggling, battling alone for the last 2 years. I said,
Hi.
I didn't know what to do. So she gave me, first of all, 6 weeks sick off, put me on antidepressants, referred me to the GP support counselor. I didn't even know all these facilities existed.
Existed.
Referred me for counseling. That was when my husband realized, because my husband is in India, Ndi Obodo, Odogwumoko. You know, they believe that kind of thing. He said, how can you be in the blood where there is 24 hours light and you are depressed? Are you crazy? How can you be? So he realized that if his wife, me, that was, if you ask about me in medical school, I was everywhere apart from cults. I was the
Mm-hmm.
house of rep. I was everywhere. You come, they do depression. You wear carry choir for head. You come, they do. And when he understood, my husband said to cook for me. He said to care for me. He said to comfort me. So during that period, when they now referred me for the GP counseling, the way these things happen, I went for my first session of counseling, and the doctor said, your English is very, very good. Have you applied for the CSA? So the two exams you write in general practice final year is AKT, which is the written exam. It costs £750 then. And then there is the CSA, which cost 1,005 then. Or was it 1,250? 1,005, I think, then. So these exams are so expensive. I had done the AKT and I had passed. Now, I was preparing for CSA when I fell into this deep depression. So this
Yeah.
man asked me, have you gone for the CSA? I said, Doc, please don't talk about that now. I'm not even going to work. I am not even self-caring. They're talking of exam. He said,
Exam.
your English is good and you have the clinical knowledge. And you, from what I can see from your history, you look like someone that is good at theatrics. That's all you need. Ha! I said, I'm not in the mood. He said, use these 6 weeks off for your good. Go and prepare for the exam and go and write it. I said, with
Wow.
all high dose fluoxetine where I they drink, they
Mm.
make me sleep like pig. He said, go, you will pass. He also told me, have you passed your driving? I said, I have failed driving 5 times now. I don't get energy to go further. He said, go again. These 6 weeks you're off, use it to make it work for you. I said, okay. I
Mm.
went back, I told my husband. He said, okay, that sounds good. I will help you. We registered for CSA. A few friends of mine, we started a WhatsApp group. We were three Nigerian female doctors who were in final year then. we started doing practice on WhatsApp. No, it was a FaceTime. We
Okay.
started doing practice, doing one page. Somebody would be the patient, somebody would be the doctor, somebody would be use the marking scheme. Then when we finish, my husband will also now be patient for me. I'll be practicing chest exam on
Yeah.
and things like that. And during that time, I was also doing my driving lessons. Everything clicked for me. You
Wow.
know, when I told my practice where I was, I wrote to my clinical supervisor that I wanted to do CSA. He told me, don't do it. You are off sick for a reason. You're supposed to use this time and get
To
yourself, not
rest.
stress yourself. Now we are scared for you. If you go and fail this exam, 1,005, you will enter a worse depression than you ever expected, and it will be difficult to come out of. My husband said, okay, you're going to work with faith. Everything we've done since we came to this UK, starting from when you left Nigeria with nothing, has been with
Yeah.
faith. So do not block out the noise. Block out the noise. Believe in yourself once again. Ha! Chineke. Mm. We went for this exam, RCGP building, Houston. My husband followed me. He follows me for all my exams. He waited for me. I went for this exam. Everything was just in Igbo, as they will say. It was going werere werere, zerere werere.
Mm.
Everything was just favor, favor. Examiner will smile at me. Patients will smile at me. I was like, I know they trust this smile because I don't let say smile for this place not mean anything. I don't know whether a good smile or not.
Oh, bad one.
Or bad one. My brother, I went and did the exam. I did this exam in I did this exam in April. I think I did everything in April, yes, or early May. First of all, I had done my driving test and passed at the sixth attempt in April. So I knew that that one would not help me. I was already in my final year. You need driving for home visits, which is mandatory
Yeah.
in general practice. All this while I had been using taxi and buses.
Oh, I see.
It was horrible. It was horrible. So I had passed my driving. That one gave me confidence. I now went for my CSA in May. The exam came, the result came out 2 weeks later. I couldn't even check it. I told my husband to check for me. The husband checked it. He said, babe, you passed. I said, what did you say? He said, you passed. I said, it's a lie. He said, lie. He said, you passed. I said, show me. Now that day, I tear my shirt too. Me on 40 milligrams of fluoxetine, off sick. Ha! Jesus Christ. Now, it remains small. Me, my neighbor call police. I don't care. I say, if you call police, I go give them celebratory jollof rice. They will not understand
Mm.
this journey. So I passed my exam. Went to my workplace. They were shocked. They couldn't believe
Wow.
it. Because if you ask around, CSA is one of those exams they say for Nigerian candidates, the chances of passing are 50-50. They
Mm.
even tell you most candidates I know have written it twice. For you
Wow.
to go sick off on antidepressant and pass. So the first thing I did as soon as I passed that exam was to start a WhatsApp group coaching Nigerian medical trainees who were struggling.
Mm.
My story. You don't really need much because this country is all about is performative. You need to act. Once you have the basic clinical knowledge and you're able to say, I'm not really sure of this right now, I will check and I'm going to call you later this evening after my clinic. Is that all right? I need to check the latest NICE guidelines. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Once you can say, I don't know, because it's about accountability, duty of candor. Don't lie. Don't say, the differentials are this. Somebody will ask you, so doctor, how does this medication work? You don't know. The one you know, say it because they want to see that you're safe. I started a WhatsApp,
Yeah.
and that WhatsApp group has grown. I still give informal coaching where I can. Another thing I did, I went and trained I did a bit of training because I work with out of hours, Derbyshire Health United. I'm a
Okay.
trainer now with Derbyshire Health
Wow.
United, not with the RCGP, but just
Mm.
with the place that I do my out of hours. So I finished my CSA, I got my MRCGP. I thought it had ended there, my blood. I know end. I can't see say to be on a visa is another stigma because I entered training really quickly. And so many of my friends were like, okay, you entered so quick. Most people would have locumed for years. And by the
Before
time
they get into training.
exactly, by the time they enter training, it will now remain 2 years for them to get ILR. But
Mm.
entered, imagine I came in 2014. My first job was 2013. No, I came in 2012. First job 2013. By 2014, I had entered training. So by the time I came out, I was still looking for visa.
Visa, yeah.
Still looking for tier two. Now there I know say tier two. If you're on tier two, if you don't have your ILR, you are a sheep and there is the goat and you are still the goat. You have never entered the promised
Mm,
land. I come they look for job. Look for job. Nobody will give me a job.
wow.
Nobody would give me a job. Oh, with the immigration policy, I don't want. No, no, we don't know what does tier two involve. What does certificate of sponsorship involve? This. In an area where I had trained for 3 years, all my friends, my social network, I didn't want to leave that place. But when
Mm,
it dawned on me, I had just 2 weeks left on my visa.
wow.
Nobody told me to start looking far and wide. I now ended up in a practice that was single-handed.
Mm,
A wild, wild west. Not just was it single handed, 99% of the population couldn't speak English.
mm,
So they'll come in and they'll be like, do you speak Punjabi? I say, no. Mipuri? No. Telugu? No. Urdu? No.
mm.
Hindu? No. So, Siteli? No. So what are you doing here? I'll be like, what do you mean, what am I doing here? Is this not England? They'll be like, who gave you a job? Who gave you a job? I say I have passed my CSA. I was given certificate of sponsorship. Narabamu. This is
Mm,
what I was experiencing every day. And it was a very deprived area. So sometimes you wouldn't even get language line to interpret. And you know that
yeah.
it's not proper to bring a family member to interpret because they can be giving you the wrong
Yeah.
information. Sometimes
Absolutely.
Sometimes people will come without family members. I was not exposed to a lot of cultural disparities. That's when I knew that there was UK and there was UK. That was when I had my first experience of knowing about honor killings, knowing
Mm,
about, you know, young brides and paper marriages, things happening blatantly. And I was like, I don't think I want to be a part of this. But I had already paid £3,000 for express tier two visa. I was
mm.
not telling my husband. My depression is coming back. My head, my head, they pain me. My head, they shake. Waiting be this. Person, I had two experiences that made me leave that place. A patient that came in and told me, pen is pen in here. Pen and pen. I said, where is the pen? Pen. I said, okay, can you localize it? No English. Hi. I looked for language line. There was nobody that could speak her language. And I said, where is the pain? She told me, I wanted to listen to her chest. She said, just give me pain medicine. I said, let me listen to your chest, first of all. She won't even let me listen to her chest. She won't let me do a pulse check or BP. She was like, give me pain medicine. I want to go. Give me. I gave her pain medicine. I told her if it does not get better in 24 hours, please ring us back.
Come
This man
back.
went and collapsed at her door.
Wow.
They called an ambulance, sent her in. She had bilateral PEs. So she had come in
Wow.
with pleuritic chest pain that she could not localize. That was the first thing that made me know, you'll get you on your mark. Start looking for a job. I
Mm,
told the man that employed me, look, get me an interpreter. What I'm doing here is not safe. I cannot sabotage my license. He said, oh,
yeah.
you have to get somebody that will interpret. It was horrible. A second patient came in, and because it was highly deprived, lots of asylum seekers, lots of deprivation, people would just turn up at the reception thinking it's an A&E. So this
Mm,
woman, even undocumented people, she had come in, likita, 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 likita. I said, what is likita? And nobody could understand her language. So they called me. I was on call almost every day. They called me
okay.
out. What am I going to do? She looked to me, cosmal breathing, sweet smelling fruit. I knew that this was an impending DKA. So I started calling around, get me fluids, get me this, get me that. Before I knew, this man went into DKA. We had to call
Mm,
an ambulance. Ambulance came, resuscitated the lady. I had succeeded in putting a cannula. That's when I said, it's enough, it's over. I applied for another job, paid another £3,000 and left that place
wow.
and came back to Derbyshire. So because in my CV I could not write I had managed single-handedly, I was seeing almost 42 patients in a day on call. Almost, it was horrible for my mental health and physical health. So
Wow.
I now went from the extreme of non-English speaking patient to going to a surgery in rural England where I was the first Nigerian GP where
Wow.
the consultation starts with, can I touch your hair? Is it okay if I touch your hair? Uh, your English is good. You know, it's interesting. I'm sure you really like the sun. This, that, you know, in a rural practice where you're going for home visit, the postcode will never match the house. You will see people live on farms. You will carry car. I had to go and get a four-wheel drive because
Mm.
the snow used to pile up to my sometimes my ankle. Get
Yeah.
four-wheel drive. You know, you enter, you put postcode, you end up in somebody's farm and be hearing moo moo. Then you I called the practice. The practice said, no, 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 this is a village. Everybody knows everybody. Go to the nearest pub and ask for Susan. I said, what about
Wow.
confidentiality? Say, coffee, they're waiting. Go and ask for Susan and have a pint at the same time. So I entered
Wow.
the pub. I entered the pub and say, hi, I'm the GP. I'm looking for Susan. They'll say, is it Susan with the big boobs or Susan with the big hips? I said,
Wow.
I don't know. They'll say, okay, what is her house address? I say, okay, it's the one with the everybody knew everybody. There was not, it was a pure village. A pure village. So they'll not tell me, oh, you need to go to that oak tree. When you get to the oak tree, there is a little dirt path, that kind of thing. So it was this disparities in practice. I stayed there for a year, and it was there I got my ILR. I got my
Mm.
I stayed there. Then I had brought my younger sister from Nigeria to come and do a master's. She came here, had the same experience, had she couldn't cope. So she fell ill, and because of that, I became her full-time carer. I had to
Mm.
then resign from full-time GP work to take care of my sister. And that's when I now became a full-time locum.
Locum.
So I
Yeah.
was locuming, and it was during that time, I think it was 2019, that I now met a lady who introduced me to governorship. How it happened was, so that's how I got into the NHS. If you know, that
Yeah.
is my story of my journey in the NHS. And yeah,
Interesting. I
thank you.
mean, you don't really get to hear this type of stories, you know. People will just be smiling in this UK, but you don't know what they've been
Ah,
through to get
hmm,
to
hmm,
where
hmm,
they are, you
hmm.
know. Wow, wow. I'm even shocked right now. I don't even know what to say.
Too
I
many layers.
really don't know what to say.
Layers. So, and I'm saying it like this, I'm just summarizing. When I talk about
Yeah.
day by day experiences of everything, is it the sometimes the discrimination when you try to close your eyes to certain things which are obvious, and you wonder, do I speak out? And when you speak out and you're called an angry black woman, and then
Mm-hmm.
damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. All the
Don't.
written rules, like when you go to HR and say, I want to take tomorrow off because I have an appointment, and they'll tell you, go ahead. And then you take it off and you come back to work and you find out that you're in trouble. And you go to HR will say, oh, there's no paper trail, there's no email to prove.
That you
Nobody
collected.
tells you things. You get into trouble, you open up and tell somebody, oh, I'm going through a bitter divorce. You open up as a friend. Next thing, that gist you told somebody has become
Goes
history.
everywhere.
And you just wonder, my God, who is my friend? Who is my friend? And you realize that your co-workers are not your friends. You open up to somebody, I'm feeling depressed. And the person will gather 10 people, this person has mental health issues. You're not, oh, don't open up to me. I'm not paid to be your psychologist. Go and speak to a psychologist. Things we take for granted in Nigeria. You can cry to anybody. Somebody will say, I will
Mm.
hold your hand and pray for you. You yourself, that you are doing preaching to your patient at the bedside in Nigeria. The sound of my voice and the name of the Lord. You know how to pocket that one and turn
Mm.
and be professional. Nobody tells you about all these things. And then you have to learn on the job. Sometimes you fall into trouble, you make mistakes, you dust yourself up, and you go. And for me, I feel Nigerian doctors need orientation by Nigerians, which
Yeah,
is
absolutely.
the GMC started doing it in 2015. I went for one in 2015, but it was all surface. Say hello, hi, tell them my name is this. He gets some things. We have our own peculiarities.
Yeah,
Dealt with. You know, come to tell a woman, you are looking sexy, you are looking fine. You get something that will put you into trouble.
big
Kind of
trouble.
big trouble. You know, have to know when to talk, when not to talk, lines you shouldn't cross, and things like that. And for me, I have learned to be a chameleon. I have learned how to code switch where to do the phone, where to shout my shout and open eye like this,
Mm.
to use my baritone voice even on the phone, where to be coquettish as a young, a lady who is a damsel in distress. You have to learn all these personalities and know when to fit into them. And I think that was what drew me to the lady who introduced me to this my governorship role. It was just
Bro.
she's a retired governor now and a
Oh.
retired health worker. She was a mental health worker. Yeah, she's retired now. So what she does for the community, she organized a jogging once in a month. She and some friends, community jogging, come out and meet one another, come and know people in your community. So when she organized this thing, I saw the thing on Facebook. Me, I'm the outgoing one. My husband is a nerd. He's an introvert, a hermit, self. So I told him, look, jogging on Saturday, he said, okay, I said, yes, so that's
Elaga.
na awumonye ngagari amamia. He said, must you go everywhere? I said, yes, we must go. So I forced him that morning, and it was a wintry morning because what my psychologist told me is, during the winter, don't stay indoors. Go out. Go and face the winter. Face it. This is me. I will not hide indoors. Because the more you hide away, the more your mind tells you it is scary outside. Go and see it. And
Mm-hmm.
even children are playing in the snow. So we went for this jogging. We were the only black people because, like I said, Derbyshire is mostly, if you come to the
Caucasian.
East Midlands is mostly Caucasian. West Midlands is more diverse. So West Midlands is Leicester, Wolverhampton, Birmingham. While East Midlands is Derby, Nottingham, Worksop. So you can see the disparity
Mm.
there. So this lady came up to us and she was like, my name is Moira. And you are? I said, my name is Oge. She said, nice of you to come. It's really interesting because you're the only, I should say, Afro Caribbean here. I said, yes. She said, so what made you come? I said, one, I'm a GP. She said, interesting. Wow, that's nice. That's nice. Because she used to work with the mental health trusts. I said, okay, interesting. She now said, and I told her I love exercise because it helps my mental health. She said, oh my goodness,
Yeah.
this is nice to hear. She now said, by the way, have you heard about governorship roles? I said, I've never heard of that. She said, how come? I said, I just go to work and come back. She said, you should come out a bit more. That they are advertising right now for governors
Yeah.
for the Derbyshire NHS Trust. I said, I don't think it's something I can do. She said, anybody can do
You
it.
can do it.
Above the age of 18 and you reside in the UK, you can run for election. I said, She said, okay, are you a member of the trust? I said, that's interesting because, sometimes me, I just go online and see ways to get involved. I had registered as
Mm-hmm.
a trust member. I said, and that is fine. Being a trust member, it involves being above 18, being in the UK, and being a member of your foundation trust. And anybody can be a member of the foundation trust
Ocean Trust.
for election. I thought that it's not something I can do. Say, think about it. There's something I'm seeing in you, and I believe you can run. Can I have your number? I gave her my number. And then she now told me that she used to work in Tanzania. All her children were born in Tanzania. She used to be a
Wow.
teacher and a social worker there. So whenever she sees Africans, because of colonial guilt, that's what she calls it, she always tries to put them on pathways to help them achieve the highest levels that they can. So we started talking from there. Funny enough, this was 2019, this happened, 2020 pandemic. 2020, I fell into a very, very bad depression because I had COVID and I had long COVID. So when my
Oh.
husband saw that I was not coping, 2021, we packed up and relocated to Nigeria. I went back to Nigeria.
Wow.
So to my going to Nigeria every year that I've been doing since 2014, 2021, we sold everything and went back to Nigeria.
Wow.
We hoped that I would get a job. But then it turned out now, Nigerian politics now, who know who? The
It's
job I
another
thought,
ball game
and
entirely.
the funny thing, the West African College does not recognize our MRCGP. They
Are you
told me,
serious?
yes, 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 because the RCGP does not recognize WACP. So it's doomed.
Hmm. Do me,
So
I do you.
now they told me it's not only will you not be recognized as a consultant, I will start at
Ah.
registry, not even senior reg. I was ready to do it to be with my husband. Went back to Nigeria. The job did not materialize. And again, we live in Enugu. The seat at home was still on with the kidnapping and everything. My parents said, okay, since you came back, we have not had peace. Maybe the job did not materialize. You have to go back to the UK. You have to go back to the UK. I said, Daddy, where will I start from? I not get house. I not get car.
Mm.
He said, you have brought out both your younger sister and your younger brother. You're going to stay with one of them. I chose to stay with my younger brother. I came back. Thankfully, I did not end my MRCGP subscription. My GM
Mm.
was still on. So all it involved was coming back, calling my local agency, and work was just flowing in.
Waiting for you.
Started working again. As if Moira knew. Moira sensed that I was around. She called me. Ogechi, are you back? I said, I'm back. She said, I told you that going to Nigeria is not for you yet. Are you ready to run for governor now? I said, okay. She said, give me your picture, write your manifesto, and I'm going to submit it for you. I gave her my picture. I wrote my manifesto. She tweaked it for me. I ran for governor and I was elected. And that's how it has been. I was elected 2021. And
Mm.
March next year is going to make it 2 years, my being a governor. So our duty is like, just like here,
Yeah, I
hospital.
was gonna ask that. Yeah.
Yeah, hospitals are trusts. It is not just an enclosed thing. They make the hospital. That's why I see people running. I'm doing a charity race to raise funds for the gynae ward, to raise funds for the CAMS, child and adolescent mental health care. So the
Mm.
trust belongs to everybody, and everybody belongs to the trust. So what I do as a governor, I'm representing my constituency where I live, which is Derby City West. My duty is to go for engagement activities. Like if there's going to be a fireworks event, I go there and tell people, do you know that in the trust, you can go for your prostate cancer screening, you can go for
Okay.
what are the needs? Oh, we need a new outdoor gym. We need a hub where we can go for blood pressure checkup. We need a sure start for our children. We need
Mm.
this, we need that. And then I'll go for governors' meetings and tell them, this is the need in my area. There is
Yeah.
drug and alcohol use. We need more outreaches. We need more support. We need more exercise groups, more working groups. I tell them at the meeting, and then when I have the meeting, then I say, okay, there is funding for this or there is no funding for this. There are voluntary sectors that your people can form, charity organization. You can go to the city council and say, I have started an over 65 tea kitchen or soup kitchen for people to come and do. So that's my duty as a governor.
Mm.
A non-paid position is a voluntary position, but a lot of experience is gleaned from it. And
Yeah.
I meet with the managing directors of the trusts, and it's not just Derbyshire, it's the whole of all the trusts in Chesterfield. So we have governors in Chesterfield, Bassett Law. We are about 17 governors or
Oh
17
wow.
with two governors each. So with people, it's just a lovely experience to get to meet people. Like this Christmas, I want to see if I can organize, because I sing, a Christmas concert in the pub close to where I live. People will come, drop in, have a cup of tea, have tea,
Mm.
to eat, just good cheer. Do that for them as their governor. Things like that. And maybe there'll be a hub where people can have their blood pressure checked at the same time, because I'm one of the few governors who is a GP. Among them, most of them are people who came from administrative roles. So I have the double opportunity of being a GP as well as the leadership, medical leadership. So that's
Yeah.
what it has been for me. It was quite difficult at first finding my feet. I really didn't know what I was doing, but now I'm loving the position. I'm enjoying the perks that come with it, and so
So all of
yeah.
us should gonna apply for governorship too.
Please do, please do. If you're above 18, register with your local trust. You don't have to be a doctor, just any trust you're in. NHS, Blackpool, NHS, Pennine, NHS, they
Mm.
all have a trust. You will see to become a foundation trust member. And then when they apply for governor, you go for it. That's it.
Interesting. I'm just very conscious of time because
Yeah.
this your story is very interesting. So I
Thanks.
mean, in hindsight now, what would you tell any doctor who is looking to move from Nigeria to the UK?
What I tell every doctor, think I'm well, oh, think I'm well. If you can come for it, especially during the winter, come and experience this place in the winter first. Number one. Number two, put good money aside. Number three, If you can write your primaries and keep them. In case this place no favor you, you go fit
You can
go
always
back. That is it. Number 4, Biko, do IELTS, do PLAB 1. If you fit do am. So that when you come, you go don't say na PLAB 2, where you fit do
remain.
months. And because when you're doing PLAB 1, it's during that time that you get your discussion partners. And people will stick strong till the end. My discussion partners from PLAB 1, we still chat because we knew how we suffered. We knew how we were walking in the snow when we had nothing. Those are the friends
Wow.
that you will hold on till tomorrow. Number 4, Biko, get a side hustle. No, they talk say I be MBBS, I be chief. Nobody care. If you will reduce yourself and come and drive bus, you fit drive bus, you fit do Uber. There is
Hmm.
dignity in labor. This
In
is not like
labor.
that you go there, you go the puff chest like Buffo regularis. Nobody
The
cares
bills
about
are
that.
not smiling.
The bills are not smiling. And again, when you come, don't be in a rush to take up a position. People are rushing to take positions from Nigeria. You need to study the system. You come and take position way past you. You be saying, after all, I'm a senior reg. Oh wow. Oh wow. Have you done an intrajugular line before? Can you defibrillate a patient? That is why I learned from our Asian colleagues. Most of them come and start from FY1. You be like,
Hmm.
you that was a consultant, they know what they're doing. They will start from that FY1. They will learn everything. Not only are they learning, they are socializing. That
Zin.
by the time they enter training, they go for president of the
Straight
college.
up.
They go for president of the
Wow.
college. They have networked. Look at all the royal colleges. How many of our people are leading there? How many of
That's
people are leading there?
good strategy.
Thank you. So that's it.
Hmm.
That's it.
Interesting. That's actually a good point. So, I actually noticed that most of the colleges are actually headed by
Thank you. And then
Indians, Asians.
And then look at what is happening now. We become MRC GP holders. And then again, because of we are disenfranchised with the system throughout our training, who sent you? Who was helping you when you kept on renewing your visa? So you tell yourself, oh boy, I don't come out. The few of us that want to become partners become. But before you know it, either because of discrimination, you're frustrated out, you become a locum. You then locum, locum, locum. Even in that your locum, you can add something on top. Don't just be locum. Either you go into maybe get a diploma, diploma in DRCOG, Diploma Royal College of Obstetrics or pediatrics or psychiatry or dermatology. Have a special interest in something. Let it not add
Hmm.
something on top. Add something on top. The way we locum, the one that is now reigning among us is Japa 2.0. I say, when I know the tired to Japa, I go come
To
carry
another
myself.
Australia now,
They go Canada, they go
or New
Australia.
Zealand, or
Dig your heels
Canada,
in. Dig your heels in. Because when you leave, you can't start again. I
all
know fit.
over again.
I know that things are hard. I know that things are hard. My house rent went up from 650 to 750 last month in a two-bedroom flat. I know that things are hard, but I told myself, I want to leave a legacy. I can't just pack up, uproot, and go and start again, learn a new system after all I went through. And that is the
Nah,
difference. These other communities, they say, yeah, let the fire burn. We there here.
we're not going anywhere.
We are not going. We pin. We pin. Ho-ha. We did. So I know that we're looking. We need the money, but sometimes leave a legacy because see, these people are now living with their skills, and now there is no umbrella or canopy for the new doctors that are coming. You will now come. You will now
Absolutely.
be meeting those who are 3 years post qualification, 4 years post qualification. The seniors have Japa
They've
2.0.
disappeared.
You see, that's it.
Hmm. It's well, though.
It's
It's
well.
well.
Oh. Hmm.
It's really been an interesting conversation,
Yeah.
and in fact, I'm going to bring you again for part two.
Part two, gist today.
Honest,
Gist.
honestly, I'm gonna
It's plenty.
bring you.
It's plenty.
I've been seeing sub comments. People are saying very remarkable story. Let me
Thank
see if I
you.
can just share this one.
Thank
Very
you.
remarkable story. This one is saying
Ah,
it's touching and
yes,
encouraging.
so it's well.
This one
We've
is
been
saying
there.
congrats. Yeah, I mean, these are a lot of the untold stories that
Yeah.
we don't hear here.
Nah. And what I will encourage, please continue something like this. Doctors have wealth of knowledge, experiences to share. Continue this YouTube live, Instagram. We need to share our stories in our community so that that person, do you know that I made a video, I will send it to you.
Yeah.
During my 10th wedding anniversary, I made a video in front of Primark. That video went viral. Why it went viral, I don't know. I came to my Instagram, more than 20 requests from all these immigration specialists. Doctor, please come and talk on our platform. We
Mm.
want to, we want to encourage those that are struggling. People told me, oh, your story has blessed my life. I was almost giving up. I used to be a consultant in Nigeria. I'm somewhere doing care. Thank you for your story. These
Wow.
are the things we went through. I know the funny part. I don't do a physio. I am as plain as they come. I
As
don't
you
form.
are.
I don't form. People tell me, okay, don't you have shame? How can you be saying you did cleaning? It's my story, oh. It's my story. When I was going out in the, do you know that I even damaged my shoulder? Squeezing mop, squeezing scrubber dryer. And you say I will not tell my story. Are they crazy? Why wouldn't I pat myself on the back after all I went through? I
Went
don't
through.
do that. I don't force. I tell you, ho ha. Whether you want to mock me, oh, it no concern me. All I know is that these stories remind me of where I started from. When I had nothing, when I was earning £6.19 per hour, my brother, I go home. As I'm writing in my journal that night, I will do £6.19 times 3 hours is equal to this. Then the next day, I will add it and add it and tell myself at the end of the month, I'm expecting £250. Oh,
Pounds.
hey.
Wow.
£250. Then when I now got my first NHS job, my first salary was 2,200. I won't collapse.
Because the margin is too much.
Oh my God, forget to forget. No, get more doctors on this platform. You're from a doctor background, so you will know the
Yeah.
question to ask because this Japan madness, I am seeing things that are making me like, what? You mean you were almost a consultant? You were already getting it. You were already, oh my God, how will you? And people are stuck. It's not like, hey, if only you had told me to leave this place open just in case. Just
Just
in
in
case.
case, exactly.
As well.
It's well though. Don't worry. Like I said, I'm gonna bring you in for part two of this interview, so that
Right.
I mean, these stories need to be told honestly, so that people can actually see
Of
that
course.
it's not all rosy out there.
Oh, at
Honestly,
all, at all,
it's
at all.
it's a journey, really.
Of course it is. Of course
Thank
it
you
is.
so much for
You're
coming
welcome,
on
Dr.
the show,
Ron.
and
You're welcome.
we'll be in touch. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next live stream.
Thank you. Bye
Just
bye.
just hold on, don't log out yet. Just hold